We're here on the pound Aussie 5 range. We have just broken structure on the higher time frame. This has happened in around 14 seconds. Got my entry shorted and got the break below, close below on this double top. So what I'm just going to do is delete everything off and actually talk through this trade, because we may just continue lower here because we have been moving quite aggressively. Okay, here on the daily, not a great deal other than the fact that we are still making our way lower. Here on the 240, this is what we've just done. So we had this level of structure and we've just had a break below, close below, a very strong bearish candle there. So I do expect price to come down to this next structure level. Let's go to the 60. Okay, here on the 60, what I was looking at was this double bottom right here. The fact now that it can offer very good resistance at this level, so we just highlight the wicks. Just get this right. Okay. This didn't happen at any kind of decent structure at all. That's why it's double bottom I wasn't interested in, so we violated that now, but it's a level of structure that was support now becomes resistance twice. Let's go out to the 15 here. Okay, as you can see, a lot of momentum that we've had here when we broke through that, and we're seeing a bit of a push higher. Now here on the 15, we did see the RSI go oversold, and still is at 8 actually. Let's go down to the 5 range. Okay, here on the 5 range, I was then paying attention to this structure level right here and the fact that we were coming into the wicks, and when we came into those wicks, we actually had the RSI confirmation, so we went overbought with divergence. So this is one thing to pay attention to. We have this lower structure level where we went overbought just here, and then on the same leg, the same run, we went overbought, sorry, oversold on the bottom and then overbought on the top. So we have an RSI swap here where we suddenly go from oversold to overbought very quickly, and then we started to double top. This happened within about 5 seconds, so I actually got quite a good entry considering, and I'm simply playing here for a retest of the lows and that lower structure level. So let's just go out here to the 60. Here on the 60, yeah, I've got my target. I'm actually going to move my secondary targets up a little bit. Okay, that is the trade. Happened very, very quickly. Just work out what the risk is and the potential reward on this trade if we can continue lower. 15 for 37. We're back, currently 21 pips up, and if we just look what happened here, we had a beautiful break below, close below, pull back for a 26.18, and have now started to make our way back down. This has happened quite quick because this is my understanding of price action, if yours differs. Well, quite simply, we've had a lot of momentum here, but after violating this good level of structure, this decent level of structure, we saw a little pop. I did mention the RSI had gone oversold. That is no longer oversold, and we are now starting to see the continuation of that bearish move. So this could happen very quickly, and certainly secondary targets are quite achievable on something like this as well. I cannot tell you guys how quickly that double top happened. It was in around 12-13 seconds, and we just formed and instantly dropped. So I'm quite surprised actually to get the entry that I did. We're back. My alarm's just been triggered. We have just got close to targets now. So what I'm just going to do is go ahead and roll to a few pips past break even here. Like that. Okay, let's just go and take a look at the high time frame, just see how this is played out. Exactly how I hoped it would do. If we take a look at that hourly candle, you can see it's been sucked all the way back down. Go back on the 15, we should see quite a bearish candle here. And you can see there that we've got several 15-minute candles. We've got that rejection straight away there. So expecting this to be filled, and with this type of momentum that we're still seeing bearish, I would expect, or at least I would hope, that we are going to continue towards those secondary targets as well. We're back. We still haven't rallied down to hit targets yet. There's a couple of things I just wanted to talk through while we're waiting for this, and I mentioned here that we were looking at the double top within this zone, and we talked about the RSI swap. But also we had hidden divergence, so we had a move lower, a pullback, a move lower, and a pullback, and then the move lower. So this area here is the last outside return, and if we look at it here on the RSI, we went from being oversold here up to overbought here. So we also had hidden divergence, which is a sign of trend continuation. Then we had the RSI swap, then we had the RSI overbought for the double top. And I just want to bring over the pound yen, which was a very, very similar setup. I'm just going to go to the 60 just while we're waiting for this thing to go and hit, and just show you the difference. Here we have virtually the same setup. So we have a double bottom right here. We can highlight the wicks. You can see we've already started to get the rejection, and if we go down to the 5 range, we want to look for that internal structure level of where we can get a double top, and right here we have exactly the same level of structure, and right here we have the wicks, and look what happened. We did actually get another double top. Now if you look at this here, this did actually come up to retest the highs, so it was valid, but we did not have the RSI confirmation. We didn't quite go overbought. We went at 74. Now I have said in some of my other videos that for the pound pairs I can take 70 for the RSI, and I can do that because that's something I've tested, and you can see that we are now getting that reversal. I was looking at this, I needed for this one a 26.18 entry, so I needed a pullback and then a continuation lower. And what I didn't want to do was be in exactly the same trade for the pound yen and the pound Aussie, particularly with the pound yen not being quite as good as the pound Aussie. So I was watching all these currency pairs at the same time, and I went ahead with the currency pair that offered the best entry. So fingers crossed that we can get here. We've got another 8 pips to go before we can get these targets. Okay, we're back again. Target's still not hit here, but look at what we've done. Big momentum candle through structure. This is the 60-minute, and here on the 60, just look at this. We've got the candle closing in probably the lower 15% here. So we could see just I would assume just a small pop to the upside before continuing going down to hit our targets. Okay, we're back for the update. Only 10 pips up now, and the pound Aussie has a very big ATR, and we could be stopped out very, very shortly here. Just look at what we did here. We were getting that lovely rejection. We never came down to retest these lows, and we put in a higher high, higher close, higher high, higher close. The only thing I can say is that we're up at the 18,000 psychological number. Unless we've got 15 minutes to go until this hourly candle closes. Let me just show you the hourly candle. This is how it's looking. I mean, we've got so much rejection. Clear sign here the sellers were in control. We could just spend the next 15 minutes just shooting right down. That's what I'm hoping for. Obviously we never know what the trades are going to do, but if this doesn't come off, then I had a trade last night that came a couple of pips. It was a pound Aussie, a couple of pips away from hitting for 44 pips. I had another one that came 5 pips away from hitting in the night, both one out for break even, one lost, and this that obviously came a few pips from hitting. I've just moved my target a little bit down just so that we can see what's going on. So that's it. Don't know what's going to happen here. We'll just wait and see. Okay, we're back. Just back in time. I've been out for a walk. It's 1:26. We've got FOMC out in 4 minutes now. I did, while I was out, exit the trade when we got down to this level, the very lows here. So I actually banked 40 pips on this trade, and as you can see, we've eventually broken through that. So out of that trade now for plus 40 pips, which is great because it in a way makes up for the 44 pip trade last night that came a few pips from targets and didn't hit. But there we go, beautiful trend continuation trade.